Hello? No. No, Mom, we don't want grilled cheese sandwiches. No, it's just me and Jesse this time downstairs. We'll try to keep it down. Okay. Love you too.
Can you cut the crust off?
My mom said we have to keep it down.
Fair enough.
So, I think it's time for the enthusiast.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
What is up, everybody? This is episode 16.
I know, our Sweet 16.
I know, of the enthusiast.
Yes, with Spanish word Centera, that thing.
We're both Spanish, and neither of us.
No.
I'm one of your hosts, Will Zabo. Alongside with me, the man with the plan, with the beautiful face, Jesse Nazario.
That's pretty good. How you doing, everybody?
So, how you doing this week?
It's been a week. I finished Zelda on Tuesday. And I filled the rest of the week with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
So, and then this whole weekend I kept going into the office because we have some important weeks coming over next week, and we're rushing, trying to get everything in order.
Makes sense.
So, there's a bunch of us there today in, jeans, t-shirts, just looking at each other, miserable, sad.
You started Horizon again, right?
Yes, I started playing it again.
How you liking it? You haven't,
all right. So, we're going to get butchered in comments probably from this.
Especially coming off of
Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay, I really like Horizon. My issue is, and I feel like I would have felt the other way around had I played Horizon first, it is so similar to Zelda. It's just, I'm not really, super enjoying it. I like it enough that I keep playing it, but it's just, I keep going back to Zelda. Zelda did this better. Oh, I liked how Zelda handled this, you know what I mean?
I'm starting to feel like that was the problem with me and Zelda. Because I was playing Horizon before Zelda, and I got really into Horizon.
And that's how I feel like, and legitimately, I feel like I would felt the same way had I played Horizon Zero Dawn first.
Yeah.
And then went to Zelda, I would have been like, oh, Horizon did this better. So, I think it's my only issue, but still really good. Still enjoying it. Still a really pretty game. So I was playing it with a few people over yesterday, and I realized the room kind of got quiet, and everybody was just watching me play.
Because of how beautiful that
Yeah,
is.
and I was like, oh, that's impressive.
All I've been playing right now is Nier Automata. That's the game that you asked me. It was for the gameplay that we put up.
Oh, yeah. I saw it looked really interesting. I went up and looked at the reviews. Reviews are kind of been split on it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people really liked it, and a lot of people were like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's very Japanese, so I can see how if some people don't really like.
I was surprised. Game Informer gave it an 8, which was still a pretty decent score for it, but I was surprised. Seeing how fun it looked, I thought it would do a little better.
I actually really enjoy it.
Also, my wife has a request for this podcast.
Okay.
No more pen play.
So. Yes, I noticed that last episode. I was playing with the pen too much, so that's why today I did not bring a pen with me.
Yep. So I'm putting this down. She sent a message to me at work.
Actually, let's just
remove the pen. Get it out of the way.
Just click it once so that it's already out.
She sent a
now
message to me at work, and she's like, "Please, no more penis." And the podcast, I'm like, "What? What penis?" So I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh, sorry, pen." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. So let's get into
the news. Oh.
So
first off, I need to know how your week was. I didn't talk to you all week except for a few phone calls, and you texted me telling me to do my homework for the podcast.
Yeah. My week was okay. I worked a lot. Between work, I just kind of played Nier when I could. Sleep. A lot of sleeping.
You look like you're losing weight, buddy.
Thanks.
I think that's just working. No time for eating anymore.
It's funny because I actually eat a lot more because of work.
I don't know. You look like you dropped at least 10 pounds.
Really?
Last I'm saying, yeah, your face looks really thin. Not that you're a huge guy to begin with, but you definitely look smaller. If anybody knows, though, you used to be real skinny. Remember those?
I do remember those.
You got
days.
fat.
All right.
Yeah.
We're getting rude.
Yep. Sorry.
Anyway, so for the news, first on the list is solo Batman movie got pushed back.
Yes. I was just reading that on the note you sent to me. How do you feel about this?
Let's be honest, we kind of called it a couple episodes
Yeah.
ago. Saw it coming. I was prepared. Little disappointed because I love Ben Affleck's Batman so much, and they really before we kind of saw the dark sides of this movie and the production of it. I was really hoping that this was going to be out with next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they were trying to rush it up. Once he was so well received, they're trying to push it up to the forefront of the DC movies. I'm okay with it, though. Pushing back is never a terrible thing as long as that means that they're taking the time with it.
Yeah.
If the director took over and was like, hey, Warner Brothers, I'm pushing it back. I want to rewrite the story, take it from ground zero, and Warner Brothers was like, okay. That tells me that Warner Brothers is finally like, do what you have to do for this movie then.
Yeah.
Because any other thing would have been like, oh, let's bank on this right now. Let's rush something out.
I agree.
Get Michael Bay to direct it.
Or what's his name?
UB Bowl, remember him?
But apparently they're thinking of filling the spot with 1 of 5 movies. Pretty sure I already know which one of these 5 you're going to pick.
Well, we got Suicide Squad 2.
Suicide Squad 2.
Gotham Sirens.
Gotham City Sirens. Green Lantern Corps.
Flash.
And Dark Universe.
Yes. To me, Dark Universe is automatically off the table because I think me and you would go see it.
I do think
probably Greg.
I do think Dark Universe would be similar to like what Marvel did with. Well, they'd be trying to do what Marvel did with Guardians, but I don't think it'd be as successful.
No.
You're taking a no-named cast of characters, and you're kind of like, okay, let's.
Yeah, I don't. Be honest. If Marvel was going to, DC was going to try to do what Marvel did with Guardians, your first attempt was Suicide Squad. You went in a different direction with Suicide Squad. Not saying I hated the movie. I liked it, and I'm glad it didn't feel like a Guardians hash, even though it was very similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
To me, if you want to do something close to the Guardians, you mention it all the time, it would be Red Hood and the Outlaws. Would probably be the closest DC could get to the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I agree, especially when you have someone like Speedy, who in the comics is kind of like that comic relief.
So you got Speedy. Not to mention, I was just going over some Outlaw stuff, and they just added Impulse to the team. Mm-hmm. I feel like he'd be an amazing addition if you want that, Because the thing that made Guardians great was not one person was the comic relief. All of them are hilarious in their own ways,
Yeah. So which one of these personally would you want to see?
Gotham City Sirens.
Okay.
I would like, or in of course Suicide Squad 2, just because I really like Suicide Squad 2. But of course, I'm going to go with Flash.
I do think.
Why would I not pick Flash?
I would love Flash. I think what's going to determine Flash getting it over the rest is going to be how people receive him from Justice League.
I went and rewatched the trailer for Justice League again because how much you really like Ezra Miller playing him. And I agree with you. Watching the trailer and seeing him, he does seem like he's going to be a fun addition to the film, and I feel like he's going to be that light tone we need in such a dark film.
I don't really see him, however, as Barry Allen.
More Wally West kind of?
Yeah, I don't know why. I get more of a Wally West from his personality.
Right.
More Wally West.
He's definitely 1990s Wally West. With the New 52 Barry Allen, he does kind of fit the New 52 Barry Allen.
Okay.
Very awkward. One of the things I really always liked about Barry Allen was he was slow in everything else he did besides being Flash.
Yeah.
Always late to work, always late in doing everything else, and I feel like he can pull that off pretty well.
Yeah.
I also like the awkwardness of him and the fact that you can tell.
Love that.
Doesn't have a lot of interaction with other human beings.
Yeah.
So
I've said it numerous times in this podcast. I really like him as Flash, though. I mean, we haven't seen a lot, but from what I have seen, I really enjoy him, and I think especially because he's an actor that most of the roles I've ever seen him in were dark, like Kevin, and we need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah.
Things like that. So I didn't even think he would be able to pull it off, but I think from what I've seen so far, I feel pretty good about it.
Only complaint I have about him, and as much as I kind of like the suit because it does look like something a forensic scientist could put together, I would really, if you're going to do his own film, I want him to get a new suit. Something more bold and stand out, because as this one is, it looks like it's held together in pieces.
Well, apparently it is. Apparently they say if you zoom in on the suit, like it's held together by like staples and things like that. Like you can tell it's handmade. Yeah. And I agree. I think if he gets his own movie, what's going to probably happen after this is, it wouldn't surprise me if Bruce Wayne makes
That's
him.
exactly what I was thinking. Of Bruce Wayne costume.
Makes him a suit.
Or even if you could do like I know I always go back to WB series, but I always like the fact that in that series, spoiler alert, it was Reverse Flash that went back in day and just designed his costume based off of what he remembered Flash wearing for the Flash of this universe. So if you do something like that, I'd be fine with too. That, you know what I mean? He somehow travels in the future ever and gets ultimate technology that he brings
Ideas.
now.
That would be pretty cool too. I agree with that.
So I mean, how would you feel? Where would they go with Suicide Squad 2 if they attempted that?
I think this time they're going to do with what they wanted to do the first time. Joker's going to be the main big bad. They said throughout the director even said the whole first movie he really wanted that to be the villain, but he kind of just, I guess, second guessed himself, or WB second guessed it.
If you use Joker now, will that ruin the Ben Affleck Batman movie?
Here's what I'm going to say: if you do that, if you put Joker as the big bad in Suicide Squad, one, obviously Joker can't die in that. You can make him maybe get put into Arkham, and then you can maybe have when Joker's big thing for Batman's movie is similar to Arkham Asylum.
Okay.
I could see them doing that. You know what I mean? Where Joker goes into Arkham to take it over, type of thing.
I mean, to be honest, one of my favorite storylines from the Arkham series is Arkham Origins. I love the whole Joker hires assassins to kill Batman, and it's just the worst night of Batman's life.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that would be
that'd
pretty
be
cool
something
too.
Deathstroke has still been confirmed for it, though. Even with the rewrites, they're somehow including him in,
Yes.
and the actor's still attached to it.
Oh, I heard the actor wasn't sure if he's still going to get attached because he was asked, and he was like, as of right now, it's still up in the air, but hopefully he'll still be a part of it.
I'm hoping.
Me too.
I like
I actually really like how he looks so far.
Yes. I also like him as an actor. I think he's pretty good. He's in True Blood.
Also in DC news, we found out that Aquaman's coming in December 2018.
Ooh. You excited about that?
Yes. Very excited. 'Cause
Jason Momoa is that dude, isn't he?
here's the thing. I'm hoping two things happen from this. One, after Justice League, people really love Jason Momoa as Aquaman, so Aquaman gets pushed to the forefront. Because we've talked about this a bunch of times where Aquaman's kind of that joke.
Thanks to Family Guy.
And I really think that this movie and the Justice League movie have a chance to really prove what Aquaman can do. I mean, Aquaman can get shot by a bullet and it not even penetrate his skin.
Yeah. Now, with that, one of the early things they announced is Ocean Master will be an Aquaman.
Yes.
Played by, can't remember his name, really like him as an actor, Patrick something. And then so is Black Mantis. Too much for one Aquaman movie? Should I have saved Black Mantis? Should I have saved Ocean Master?
Here's what I think you can do. I think you can tease Black Mantis, have like an encounter, and then have it like Thrones of Atlantis. Where Black Mantis was in the movie, but he wasn't the big bad of that movie.
Right.
But we know what Black Mantis is capable of. So you kind of have him there as like a hired gun or something, have him go. And then you have Ocean Master be the big bad.
Right.
Second movie, Black Mantis is back. We've already kind of had a hint of what he can do, but we don't really know if he's a threat, and then we see what he can really do.
Gotcha. That would be neat.
I think that's the only way you can make it work, because Aquaman, in my opinion, doesn't have that many villains. And I think by throwing out the two biggest ones right in one movie is...
That's what I'm saying. It's just those are his two big villains, and those are the most recognizable.
Yes.
I feel like don't rush them. You might have what was that? Spider-Man 3 disorder, where you just had too many villains in the film, and it felt overwhelming.
Yeah, I think if you... what the Spider-Man movies usually seem to do is have like a smaller villain in the beginning and then the big bad towards the end. I wouldn't want that for Black Mantis because I don't want them to dumb him down as a character.
Right.
But I think if you make him like a middle guy who is like just a hired arm, and then he's like, you know what? I don't really...
Yeah, don't even touch on his backstory or anything. Just
Yeah.
have him in the film, and then we can really explore his backstory in the next movie.
Yeah. WB also wants the X-Men First Class director, Matthew... I'm probably going to say... Do you know his last name?
Matthew Vaughn.
Vaughn? Okay. I kept pronouncing it wrong whenever I would say it to myself.
Word? How are you pronouncing it?
Vaughn.
I like that. That's good. I'm cool with
But
that. Vaughn.
they want him to helm Superman, Man of Steel 2.
I've heard this. I read that. You sent it to me in the notes.
Yes.
I did some research.
I sent you all the notes. And if he doesn't want to do Man of Steel 2, they still want him to do some sort of DC movie.
All right.
So how do you feel about that?
I feel like they should have had him for Man of Steel 1.
I agree.
If they were going to do it, because he did such a good origin story with X-Men, or was it X-Men First Class?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind seeing him in doing anything, because I really like him as director. The only two I really know he did was Kick-Ass and
X-Men.
X-Men, but I like both those movies. So.
Same. I'm a little My only fear would be that Superman already has this stigma behind it that I don't think he's willing to take a shot at it. I do think there needs to be some director that's willing to try and bring Superman back around.
I do, and I really feel like they need to fix Henry Cavill's Superman and make him less brooding. Like,
Because
stop pouting, man. Stop.
as much as we like DC movies, I would say if you don't have a good Superman, because he's like big in Justice League, he's big in a lot of the DC lore. If you don't have a good Superman, a lot of people are probably going to be a little about going to see your movie.
So I feel like whoever takes the reins has got to look at the franchise with a new, fresh eyes. Stop looking at what's come before you and do something brand new with it. You know what I mean? And especially whoever's doing Man of Steel 2 is going to get a resurrected Superman. So you can do whatever you want with him, in my opinion. That's a fresh start. That's a clean wipe. You know what I mean?
I agree. My only problem that I run into with Superman at this point is I think they wasted a big bad already, Doomsday.
Right, yeah.
I feel like Doomsday is like, whenever people think of Superman, one of their favorite comics and movies was Doomsday.
Yeah, I didn't like Doomsday.
No?
Yeah.
I really feel like they used him a little too early. I mean, what do you do now? Brainiac or
You could do Brainiac.
Metallo?
I'm hoping to. I would love to see Parasite. Parasite would be cool to see. I'd like to see Livewire. There's a lot of Superman villains I would like to see. But to me, you keep using his one weakness over and over, which is kryptonite. I would like to see some magic actually be thrown in.
Ooh.
Open that Superman lore a little bit. You know
what would be pretty cool? If Black Adam.
Ooh,
that could be the introduction to Shazam.
Oh yeah, that
just
would
like that movie.
Yep.
Shazam, Superman versus Black Adam.
With the Rock too, man. Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
That'd be such a big
I
presence.
would pay to see Rock beat up Henry Cavill. Why not? Absolutely.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Look at you thinking again. I'm proud of you. Good job.
That I believe that is my job on this podcast.
Yes, yeah. You hear that, WB? Black Adam, make it happen.
They do listen to us.
They do, obviously.
While we're still on WB, Matrix. So, a couple weird things about this, though. Some people have said it's a reboot. The writer has said it's not a reboot.
It's a sequel.
Yeah.
Slash prequel.
So, what would you like?
All right, well, I'll tell you what I heard, which I don't want. Michael B. Jordan's attached to it. Which I don't have a problem with Michael B. Jordan because he's awesome. But he's going to play a young Morpheus and we're telling his story. I would hate that. Hate it. I would not see it. Just like I never seen Hannibal Rising. Because I don't want to know Morpheus' backstory. His mysteriousness is what I like about him. So leave him alone.
I agree. I don't want a prequel.
I don't want a prequel, correct.
I would much rather see...
I feel like we got a prequel in the sense of the architect talking for 45 minutes at the end of Reloaded.
I agree.
You know, I got it, man. Zion's been done 40,000 times. Ergo, okay, I understand. We don't need a prequel.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to see that again.
Here's my question, though. What are they going to do if they do a sequel? Because Matrix Revolutions really ended it. You know what I mean? The treaty between the humans, like, now you're going to have to get into the whole lore of the treaty somehow broken. I mean, the only thing to me that could make any sense is if you add an outside threat that's neither machine or human. You know what I mean? Something like Smith again, a virus.
Yeah.
Where, you know, the machines have to call on the humans for help.
That'd be interesting. They also apparently have been talking to Keanu Reeves about it. I don't know what they're going to do to get him... Like, I don't understand what his part would be. Because he, as far as we know, didn't he die? Or wait, they ended... Doesn't he kind of move at the very end? Or no?
No, you think Mass Effect 3.
Probably.
They Jesus him at the end. He like sacrificed himself, and then you kind of see his out silhouette in the like sun kind of thing at the end. But to me, his character died. Like, you know what I mean? To me, the one where we can go into who I think the one was, but his whole destiny was, you know, revealed and
Like predetermined.
You know what I mean? And his whole legacy can live on, but the actual character Neo passed away with Trinity. It was over. You know what I mean? Their story arc ended.
Yeah.
So
what do you think they're talking to him for then? If it is a sequel...
I mean, he could come back. He could come back in a different format or something like that. To me, in my opinion, don't do another Matrix movie. Just...
Yeah, I don't
2 and 3 were a bit of a letdown to begin with, but I can take them.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
It's like...
They weren't horrible. In my opinion, they weren't as good as 1.
No.
And I think that's the problem. They weren't bad, but they weren't They wasn't like Lord of the Rings, where the Fellowship, in my opinion, is the weaker of the three, and then you go into these other two, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, to be honest, for one will always stand, and then I like Revelations more, and then Reloaded. I just was not a big fan of that movie. Too long, so dragged out.
I agree.
Except for the Ghost Brothers, they were awesome.
Oh, they were pretty cool.
Yeah, they were really
They could
cool.
just phantom through.
Yep.
Yeah.
That whole highway scene was amazing. I would have paid just to see that scene only. Just all right, we're good.
Yeah, I guess.
And then, to me, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna bring Keanu Reeves back, then you got to bring back Agent Smith because he's what made those movies too.
I agree.
It's like, you know,
and I hope that if they do bring Smith back, they don't recast him.
No, what, you couldn't, man? Are you kidding me?
Just
He
saying.
was perfect, man.
I agree, but they're
Like, he made me think a middle-aged balding man could fight. Like, dude, that's acting right there. Like,
Keanu Reeves said that he would like to be a part of it as long as the script looks good.
well, I heard he didn't want to come back unless the Wachowskis came back.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think the Wachowskis are coming back.
Yeah.
And to me, that's another crazy thing, doing their movies without them, because that's their baby. Like, the Wachowski brothers wrote that. They wrote that out of an homage and love letter to anime. So, like, how would you do
Because I know Ghost in the Shell had a big part.
Oh, absolutely. And they omit that, too. That,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a big, which we can get into Ghost in the Shell and why I'm not seeing that movie. But, you know.
So
Either way, what do you want? Do you want a reboot or a sequel to Matrix?
I think the reboot would be the safer option, and here's the only reason why. I don't want a prequel. I don't want to see why the war started. I already got that with the Animatrix.
Such a good
That was really good too. Yeah.
Live action that. There you go.
I don't want to see Morpheus' backstory because I agree. I think it's similar to what Star Wars wants to do with Yoda. I don't need to know Yoda's backstory. As cool as I think it would be, because you always hear about Master Yoda, to see why he's so praised, I don't need to see it. Sometimes the mystery is better.
What you came up in your head is so much better. I agree with you.
I rather in my head be what it is and then be disappointed with
By
what the
something,
reality.
Yeah. Like I said, I brought it up earlier, but I love the Silence of the Lambs films, and I did not want to see Hannibal Rising on the basis of I didn't want to know why Hannibal Lecter was like that. You know what I mean? In my mind, this is why he's like that. So I left it alone. I never watched that film. Still haven't.
I've seen it.
I'm glad for you.
I probably shouldn't have, but
Get a little pat on the back for that one.
next, James Gunn all but confirms Guardians 3.
Why wouldn't you confirm Guardians 3? I'm surprised he didn't confirm Guardians 16.
Yeah, the Guardians is going to go for a while.
You could show me that trailer in the place of an actual movie, and I would be satisfied. Because just the trailers he's cut are amazing to me. I keep going back to the trailer where Mantis gets hit with the meteorite, and Drax is like, "Watch out! Oh, I tried, guys." I'm like, "That, I'm done." I was in tears. Like,
I tried to. You sold me.
I saw you. You saw. Good for Batista, man. Like he made that character his. Like, I honestly, I've heard other people go for roles, but I can never see anybody else in Drax but Dave Batista.
Who do you want to see join the Guardians for 3? There's a lot of people that have been in the comics. I'm thinking the obvious choice that they're probably going to do after Avengers is Iron Man.
Okay.
I really think Tony Stark's going to leave with them. I think they really just need to figure out a way to get rid of Iron Man from the series because you're not using him in anything but cameos at this point.
Robert Downey Jr.? Dude, he really makes some films, man. As much as we all make fun of Robert Downey Jr., which gets shoved down our throat, people keep seeing it because Robert Downey Jr. is in
That's
it.
true. Well, he is the Tony Stark.
Be honest, I would like to see them team up with another team, another famous team from Marvel somehow. If they can get the rights back to Fantastic Four, I would love to see that in Guardians 3. Fantastic Four and the Guardians.
Dude, if they could get the rights back to Fantastic Four, they could do so much more because Fantastic Four is a part of...
You can get Skrulls back,
A
you
lot
can
of
get
shit.
Galactus, you can get Silver Surfer. When you got a plethora of space like you do, I would love, of course, the dog, what's his name? The Apollo, the space cadet dog. I'd like to see him join the team. You know what I'd love to see? Mojo from the comics. Remember Mojo Planet?
Yes.
Yes, I would love to see that in Guardians.
Okay. That would be pretty interesting.
Oh, and Longshot, you could do that with Longshot. I know he's an X-Men. But come on, man. I would love to see Longshot. I always wanted to see him in an X-Men movie. And, like, you know what I mean? Still cheesy, too. Like, the 80s Longshot I remember with the Thunderbolt and the 6 extra finger on each hand. You could literally just get like Fabio in a tight suit and have prosthetic fingers. I'm like, that's long shot. I'm good.
That'd be pretty funny, actually.
Can't believe I'm an X-Men. Worst Fabio impression ever.
Yeah, I don't really, I'm not going to lie, I don't know too many of the Guardians. All I really want, and it really bothers me that he always seems to not want to do it, is bring Nova in.
Yeah.
Like, James has said, like, he doesn't really have an interest in the character.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't have an interest, don't make him do it.
I get it.
Seen what Sam Raimi did with Venom. Like, you seen that?
Yeah, that's true.
You said, like, you're gonna make me put Venom in that, Sony? Okay, all right. I'm gonna make everybody hate him, including me. Congratulations.
Speaking of Venom.
There it is. That's what I did. See, I do read your notes.
Venom will be opening in theaters October 5th, 2018.
Sony film. Don't forget to throw that out.
Yeah, it's Sony. It's not going to be tied to the MCU.
Nope. And no Tom Holland.
No Tom Holland. Which
Andrew Garfield's already been fired from Sony, so we know we're not getting that Spider-Man.
apparently there's no Spider-Man in this movie.
In my I don't know how you wanted to go with this, but I'm going to talk because that's what I like to do. In my opinion, if you're doing no Spider-Man and you're just doing a straight Venom, do not do an origin story and do not do Eddie Brock. Skip all of that and go right for Flash Thompson, Agent Venom.
I agree.
And that's the only thing I'd want to see.
I think that's the only way you really make it work.
Yeah.
Because if you do Eddie Brock,
Without Peter Parker, oh god,
you're setting it up for
it'd
failure.
be like Catwoman all over again. You remember that disaster with Halle Berry?
Let's not talk about that movie. Ugh. But they haven't thrown it off the table that Marvel will accept him. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think Marvel will let Venom become a part of the MCU as long as Sony can prove they can do a good job with the character by themselves and really establish him. I just think Marvel definitely doesn't want to put their name on two things that Sony's doing. You know what I mean? And throw more resources at Sony. But I think if Sony can really prove that they know what they're doing with the character and all, then they can make it work. My concern is if you don't do Eddie Brock, you do Flash Thompson, you do Agent Venom, and then Marvel's like, bring him into the MCU. What do you do? Because now you have Peter Parker and Flash Thompson instead of Peter Parker and Eddie Brock, and I feel like everyone would want to see that.
I mean,
Eddie
you can
Brock.
always set this way into the future kind of thing.
That's
and
true,
have Ed ready, like I said. You don't even need to explain. Let the comic fans know what happened and let other people just introduce us as a new character. You know what I mean? But I do not want to see Eddie Brock. Like, if you remember Blade with Wesley Snipes.
Yes.
Underrated movie, by the way. Love that movie.
Blade's great.
Yes. They were going to have Morpheus at the end of that film. And the director himself was like, he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to tell the story of Morpheus without doing Spider-Man, and they did not own the rights to Spider-Man. I thought, like, that was a brave or a really bold decision. Like, thank you. And, like,
Yeah.
I feel like if Sony attempted to do Venom, Eddie Brock, without the Peter Parker aspect in the story,
I agree. Here's the other problem, though, that we could run into. Technically, I don't know the deal between Sony and Marvel. Sony does own Spider-Man. They could do their own Spider-Man series as well to still use this Venom as Eddie Brock. I don't think they will.
yeah, but
They could.
It'd be stupid, like, to have two different Spider-Mans going on. It'd be like when the two James Bond movies
The
went
only
ahead.
way they could pull it off is if they did Miles Morales.
I guess.
Even that, I think people would still feel fatigued because you would get so much Spider-Man.
I don't understand why just not do the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Just do a shared film. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's what everyone would even want. And Marvel gets another character under their belt.
yeah. Like, I as much as I did not like Spider-Man 3, at least they did the proper introduction of Venom somewhat. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, he didn't work out. Wasn't big and bulky, but it's okay.
Well, I see what they were trying with the whole opposite Peter Parker thing. It just didn't work. But to me, I love Agent Venom. You know that. I've said that before.
Yeah, and you feel he's a very underrated
I
character.
think he's an underrated character. I have an Agent Venom shirt, you know what I mean? Which is one of the only Marvel shirts I own. I'm not a big Marvel fan, people know that. But I love Agent Venom. I love his look.
I actually do agree with you there. I think Agent Venom's look is the cooler of them.
So I would, you know what I mean? But it's hard to tell the symbiote story. And are they going to do the symbiote story? Are they going to do the ultimate story where he's, you know, Venom was a project made by Eddie Brock and Peter Parker's father, you know what I mean?
Or are they going to do the Meteor story?
Yeah.
It's
Joe Jameson. gets
See
it
now,
from
here's my
Mars.
other weird thing. Whenever I think of Venom, my favorite symbiote was Carnage. I always think of Carnage. I wonder if they're going to do that, where it's a Venom versus Carnage type thing down the road, or Venom and Carnage versus Spider-Man if it does get accepted into the MCU. But you and me have talked about this before too, where you can't really have Carnage without making a rated R movie.
Yeah. Be honest, with Sony still owning so many of the Spider-Man villains, I feel like they could do a Venom movie, Agent Venom movie, without Carnage, without any other symbiotes in it. Just legitimately do a well-known Spider-Man villain. I wouldn't mind seeing him go against Doc Ock. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind seeing him go against... As long as the character's big and I can see two brooding big characters fighting, I wouldn't mind that at all.
That'd be pretty cool.
I was going to say Hydro, but that'd be really weird. It's a wet Venom. Like, stop splashing water on me, man.
Hopefully, Venom does well enough that they can incorporate him into the MCU. Box office is going to decide that, though.
Well, I can't... I would say back in the day it would be fine. Every superhero movie did well, but recently that's not the way it works anymore. You know what I mean? Doctor Strange didn't even do amazing box office wise. I mean, so you can't even count that. Sometimes it is word of mouth that makes the difference. Guardians of the Galaxy was a fluke. The fact that that did well was legitimately word of mouth and how great the reviews were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same with Deadpool. So it shows you have to have a good film to make sure the box office backs you up.
That's true.
So, because Logan, you can see Logan started off decent and it's gone up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was just word of mouth.
Because people have seen it.
You seen Logan, you got to. It's so good.
Yeah. But speaking with the box office, although Star Trek Beyond did poor in the box office, they want to continue the series. How do you feel? Did you like those?
I did not see Star Trek Beyond yet. I saw that in the notes and I panicked. I love those movies. I like 2 better. I liked Into the Darkness better.
I actually really did too.
All right.
And it's so funny because most people don't agree with me.
I like the first one, but Into the Darkness was great. Not to mention, I don't know how this happened. In the universe we're in now, in the world we're in, no one spoiled it for me. I was literally shocked when it came out who he really was into. So I was like, what? And I didn't watch it until it came out on Blu-ray. And no one somehow spoiled it ever for me.
What?
So I was legitimately still shocked when I watched it. I was like, what? So, that I really liked. I've heard Into the Darkness was great.
You mean Beyond?
Beyond. That's
Sorry,
what I said.
we were just talking about Into the Darkness. Yeah. I own Beyond. I still haven't even opened it.
You never watched it?
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't had time.
I've heard it was really good. I've heard it leaves off on a good note. The only reason I would have trouble with them going on is the one kid that plays, is it Scotty?
Oh, yeah.
The one passed away. I really liked him as an actor. I really loved him in that part. I feel like let him go out on a high note and leave that franchise. You know what I mean? If you're going to do another Star Trek movie with that franchise, start expanding out. Go new generation. Start pulling other characters in and stop just focusing on the first Enterprise. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I'd love to see a new version of Jean-Luc Picard. It still could be, what's his name? Patrick Stewart, because he hasn't aged.
He does still look exactly
He walks
the
in the
same.
set and I'm like, wow, you look great.
He does look exactly the same. But what do you think? Do you think, even though the box office didn't do well, do you think they should continue, or is Star Trek something that's... I honestly feel like the reason it didn't do well, though, is Star Wars.
I agree.
100%.
I agree 100%. That's why it didn't do well. I also feel like you said, not a lot of people were big on Into the Darkness. So I feel like that had something to do with it. So, and I know personally, as much as I like those movies, I saw the first one in theaters. Yeah, the other 2, like you said, I haven't even seen Beyond yet, and I waited till
I saw the first 2 in theaters. But I didn't see Beyond in theaters. I own it, and I still haven't seen it.
And plus, it's rare to start finding Star Trek fans now. They're like really heavy waiting for. I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure there's still millions of Trekkies, but
when I was younger,
not as much as Star Wars.
When I was younger, I didn't like Star Trek. But that was because I wasn't really into politics, and Star Trek is a lot more politics than it is.
Well, it depends on the show.
That's true too.
And I know plenty of people, like I'm big on, I love Star Trek: The New Generation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I respect the originals for what they were, but New Generation was my Star Trek. I know people that only watched Enterprise or Deep Space Nine. Like, there's literally fans that only have a series that they'll watch and they'll talk smack on other series. And that's the other big issue with Star Trek, the fact that this movie franchise is only doing the original Star Trek.
So there are people that hate the original and they're like, I'm not watching.
And it was weird for me to go see it because as much as I like the originals, New Generation's mine, you know what I mean? That was my Star Trek. I watched all those movies.
Actually, like I said, I never enjoyed Star Trek until these movies. So to me, it's like a whole new thing.
You gotta watch Next Generation, man.
Maybe I'll check it out.
Jean-Luc Picard was that dude. Like Captain Kirk got the ladies with his hairline. Jean-Luc Picard got it with his suave. I loved him.
Girl with the dragon tattoo's finally getting its sequel.
I know. I saw that in the notes. I was like, what? There's no way. When did that come out? 86? So, no, it's got to be what, 2010 I think it came out?
Yeah, it came out a while ago. I'm actually surprised Daniel Craig and them are even still willing to do it. It did okay box office wise. Yeah.
Reviews were decent for it. I liked the movie.
I loved that movie.
I'm really surprised though we're finally getting a sequel, and that makes me so worried that we're going to get another Percy Jackson. Remember that happened to Percy Jackson? We got the first movie.
Yeah.
Took forever to get the sequel. The sequel didn't do as well in the box office as the first one, and they were like, cut it. And they stopped the franchise.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of that franchise.
I do think having these really big gaps between it's going to hurt.
Bad idea.
Because you definitely want to bring the sequel out while it's still fresh in people's minds and they're still thinking.
And then the worst is, it's not even like it's a continuation of names, so people are not even going to know that this is a sequel to Girl with a Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah.
They're going to be so confused. Can you imagine if somebody coming in here and be like, the hell is this?
I think the second one from the book series, I believe, was The Girl Who Caught Fire. Played with Fire, yeah.
Have you read the books?
I have all three. I only read the first one, actually, and it was really good.
I do enjoy the books, but I will say, and this is what I'm worried about the movie, they all are very similar, and they all have a lot of the same story aspects. So, like, when you're reading them, they all kind of just start blending in together.
Yeah.
And I'm really worried that that's going to happen with the movie.
I will say this. The movie definitely has one thing going for it.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, he's one of those actors. He's one of the very few that you put his name on something and people will go see him. I mean, with James Bond, he really made a name for himself.
Oh, yeah, those movies. He's awesome. Layer Cake. That's a different story. If you've never seen Layer Cake, go out and do it after the podcast.
But, you excited for this?
I am. I am very excited. And I'm also excited for Daniel Craig. Because I don't know if you know this, he got to get fat for a Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. Because they wanted him out of shape.
Oh,
So I watched an interview with him right after they did the movie. And they're like, what did you do to prepare for it? He was like, I ate pizza and cake. I haven't done that in years. It was amazing. I felt so happy for him. Like, good for you. So that means he gets to eat pizza and cake again.
I bet that's what Hugh Jackman did as soon as he was done, Logan. He was like, I told you to hold that cake for when we were done. Bring it here. Gonna down the whole thing.
Oh, probably knee deep in a Twinkie right now as we speak.
Topic of dragons or kaiju. Godzilla.
Don't do that again.
Alright, I'm sorry.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Right.
Godzilla's getting
Godzilla wasn't even a dragon, man.
Alright, look, man. Some people don't know that. Just let it go.
I'm not a big... Alright, go ahead.
Godzilla's getting its first ever animated series.
Yeah, I don't know why you're excited about this.
I'm not excited. I'm just saying, is it cool?
Is it newsworthy, though?
Why not? There's a lot of Godzilla fans. I like Godzilla.
4 people?
5 if you count me, then.
No, the movie did well enough. I guess so. But isn't it like on Netflix?
It's going to be a Netflix exclusive.
So that means it's adult-oriented?
They haven't set a rating for it. I think the smart thing to do would make it for adults, because honestly, the only Godzilla fans left are probably
adults.
Yeah.
I don't know. My son really liked Godzilla, and he made me buy the movie, the new one that came out.
Uh-huh.
And we watched it, and it kept his attention, which shocked me because Godzilla's in that movie for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So, and I like that movie, and I'm talking smack on. I like it, but
I liked it too.
I feel like it's a weird time to jump on the Godzilla hype and do the animated show now. Like,
I think it depends. If this is coming out around the time of the second movie, honestly, it makes sense. That's exactly why you would do it. Or if it comes out a little bit before the second movie, that's why they're doing it. They're going to have people see this, one be like, oh, you know what? I really like that. I want more Godzilla.
It's going to be weird, though, because you heard what they're doing with the second movie, the 3 villains.
Yeah.
It's almost like a cartoon already.
Mothra.
The serpent thing with the 3 heads.
King Ghidorah.
Oh, yeah.
And I forget the third one with the chainsaw in the center of its chest, I think it was.
Yeah, so.
But,
like I said, that's really animated enough, so I don't know where they would go with. And is the series going to connect to the movies?
Well,
it would be based
with this second movie too. They also can't afford to do what they did with the first. you can't just have Godzilla on screen for like
22 seconds.
Yeah, like you would. That whole movie has to be these fights.
Yeah, we can see. I'm also I was an old school Godzilla fan. I love those original Japanese movies.
With the guys in the suits.
Yeah, they were really fun. And the original King Kong vs. Godzilla, I love that movie. And they just made up powers for King Kong so he could fight Godzilla. It generates electricity. That was never in any King Kong lore. All right. I want to talk about while we're on the subject, and I didn't see this in your notes. So, Kong Skull Island got released, which is in the same universe as Godzilla.
Yes.
Because in 2020, they want to do a King Kong versus Godzilla film.
Yes.
Here's my issue with this. Godzilla was ginormous.
Oh, yes.
King Kong is about 100 feet.
Yeah,
King Kong's got...
It's funny because King Kong's big, but from what they've shown...
He's the biggest Kong we've ever had.
But
franchise-wise. He's still nowhere... He's about up to Godzilla. I think I was watching a couple videos online. Somewhere averaged him around just above his knee to his waistline of Godzilla. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like, so I can't... Like, is this... Are we getting another Kong? Is this King Kong and Skull Island still growing? What is going on?
Yeah, that's...
That's
not even fair.
Are we getting multiple King Kongs? Like, what's going on?
I mean, either way, I feel like that fight is unfair to begin with because Godzilla has his beams and stuff like that. So unless you do something to Kong to actually give him a...
Well, like I said, the original King Kong versus Godzilla, they gave King Kong electric powers.
But if they didn't establish that in Skull Island, I feel like people are going to go out and see King Kong versus Godzilla and be like, why didn't he do this in Skull Island?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, that's one thing I'm really... So, if you guys hear anything, leave it in the comment section, because I'm legitimately curious about this. Like, how they plan on doing this.
Let us know if you're excited for this.
Because, remember, I made that comment when Skull Island first came out. I was like, oh, this is the biggest King Kong I've ever seen. Probably because they want to do a King Kong versus Godzilla. And then I seen the estimates of how big he was in Skull Island. I was like, it's still nowhere near as big as Godzilla. That's crazy. And I was thinking about it. Yeah, Godzilla was huge. Remember, like
he was monstrous.
People were landing on his back, and he was like a city. And like,
yeah, some people were also saying that Godzilla looked too fat.
See, I love the way he looked in the movie because it looked like a guy in a suit, but realistic. If it makes sense to you, like it looked like the old school suit with extra weight and all that, but realistic.
I'm actually going to skip this next one because you're not a big Game of Thrones fan. Because you don't watch Game of Thrones.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
So,
but I need to know, man.
All I'll say is Game of Thrones, the final season's only going to be 6 episodes.
And you're really upset about that. You put a sad face next to it.
Yeah, I mean, they said the last 2 seasons were going to be as long as usual. Usually there were 10 episodes, which I always thought that was too short anyway. All HBO shows are pretty much 10 episodes, though. But it always upset me because, like, I just want more. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of stuff in the books that they don't touch that if they would have
like
made...
Harry Potter.
If they would make the seasons longer, they could. And it's just a little disappointing.
You run into the risk of people losing interest. I know one of the reasons why I lose interest in these CW shows as much as I like them is they're over 20 episodes a season. So there's a lot of filler in there.
That's true, too.
Same with The Walking Dead, why I stopped watching it. There's so much filler in Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, done.
But things like that bother me because there's so much source material that I feel like there's no reason for filler, personally.
It is, but sometimes the source material can be filler, too. People forget that.
That's true,
I mean?
yeah.
I'm reading the Resident Evil books right now. Really good, by the way. I recommend them to people. I read the first one, which is based off the first game. There was so much filler in that just unnecessary. The first, I think, 5 chapters are before the mansion.
Huh.
Like,
yeah.
Why do I care that Jill was running late for work? Okay, like, and she dropped her keys in her coffee. Get me to some zombie killing here, all right? So, I eventually will watch Game of Thrones when the hype is over and I don't have to talk to people about it. So, and then I probably won't care because anybody remember the show Lost? Remember it?
I do remember Lost.
Well, season 6 and 5 were meant to be one season, and they split it into 2. And because of that, I felt like you got a lot of information per episode, and it got a lot, so it didn't feel like a lot of filler. Like you needed to watch that next episode, to get there. So, if you had noticed, by the way, we got a new addition to our office down here.
I saw it's Lost.
John Locke, buddy, keeping us safe,
holding the fort down. Do you like the Alien movies?
Yeah, of course.
Ridley Scott wants to do 4 more.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I don't mind either, as long as we don't get another Aliens 3 and 4.
Okay, which he had nothing to do with.
Yeah, I know.
It's either Ridley Scott directing them or James Cameron. and I'm good. Because James Cameron made the greatest Aliens movie, which was Aliens.
Okay.
So as long as either of them are doing it, I'm fine. Because Alien was terrifying.
Alien is my favorite because I think it really nailed the horror aspect. Where it's a haunted house that you can't escape, and that's what I loved about it. Like,
outer space, don't get out of that.
Most horror movies, the whole point is to get out.
Or people go kind of looking for that trouble kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where this alien kind of got aboard their ship, and it's like, uh-oh, now what are we going to do? I agree.
So, I'm excited for this, though.
4 Alien movies, he's really old, so I don't know.
I don't know if he'll be around for all.
That's a big determination. Like George A. Romero, the guy that made zombie movies, says he wants to keep doing zombie movies till he dies. I'm like, what? Like next week? You're like 90, man.
That's like, I still get surprised whenever they show Marvel trailers and Stan Lee is still cameoing in them. I'm like, what are they just like?
When the other day I read that he was like hospitalized, and then I heard it was like over like a broken finger or something like that. I'm like, geesh, man, that man still don't have big issues. Like, goes to my theory that he died like 10 years ago, and Marvel's just keeping him around on strings. Like, hey, true believers, hey.
His finger actually fell off completely. They're like, get him in the hospital and sew back on. We need you to hide those stitching.
But apparently, statistically, let's get into that. If you don't retire, more likely you're going to extend your life. So reasons why Betty White's still working and still kicking, and Stan Lee and all these people are still legitimately working, probably going to live forever.
Huh. That's actually pretty cool. I didn't know that. PlayStation Now. You liked it.
I did. Did I keep it though?
You did not.
Yes. Because of why?
Because it was all old games.
Correct.
And there's so much new stuff coming out, you didn't really have time to replay them.
Oh yeah.
But we're finding out something new. Sony
What's the news?
I actually think this is to combat what Microsoft did last time.
Why wouldn't you think it?
But PlayStation Now is going to be adding PS4 games to the server.
Finally.
Yes. That's actually big news.
It is. Big time.
Yeah. So now, not only does the value of PlayStation Now, in my opinion, go up, because it's honestly the same price as Xbox Pass. It's $10.
Right.
It's technically is $10 a month.
Yeah.
But they don't allow you to just pay for a month.
Yeah.
You have to buy.
But it's also cheaper if you get the entire year.
Yeah, it's only $100.
Yeah.
Where technically, if you did pay the $10 a month, it'd be $120. What do you think?
I think it's a pretty good move. I think it was worth it for just the PS3 games if you wanted to sit there and play PS3 games, or if you had more time. Where somebody like me and you were only getting about 2 hours of play a day. I was like, I had Horizon Zero Dawn coming out, I had the Switch. There was just no point in me paying for that, knowing I was not going to touch it. But if I can start playing some PS4 games on there, yeah, absolutely. It's worth it.
My only concern is we found out that if too many people are on the game, you can't play it.
Yes. They're pushing you off a while. Now, with that being said, when I was playing it, there was only a few circumstances where it was like a good while before I could get on. Because people are always going to be getting in and off the games.
That's true.
But I feel like if you're adding PS4, your number is going to go up, obviously.
I think instead of them streaming it, they're going to have to probably do something similar to what Xbox is doing, where you install the game, which you actually already install the games as it is.
Oh, it is, because I got rid of the service, and it still has an option for me to play God of War Extension on my PlayStation 4.
Yeah, it just probably asks you if you have the service and you're going to try to play it. But I think just letting you install it and being able to play it whenever is fine, as long as you have the service. Just you don't even have to do what Microsoft did and say, oh, you can't be online to use it. I mean, I'm okay with that. I always have internet, and I understand if I need to be online to do this. But,
right.
But yeah, I mean, this is pretty exciting, and I think, a lot of people could get a lot of use out of this.
You're pretty excited.
Thanks, I try to be. You know what else is exciting? Horizon is actually one of the best-selling new IPs.
Are you surprised?
No.
I'm not surprised.
I'm slightly surprised, and here's why. It doesn't have multiplayer.
Okay, I can see that.
And a lot of people seem to be on this multiplayer kick of games. I think one of the big things that helped this game, though, was The Last of Us. Even though The Last of Us had multiplayer, I feel like most people didn't play it. Amazing multiplayer. If you haven't played it, try it out.
Right.
But I think The Last of Us really let people feel like story games are worth playing.
They're important. It is, and I agree with you. And you know how much I love story games. I am not surprised that it did well, because one, we mentioned it on this podcast, and everybody listens to it. So obviously they went out and bought it. No, truth be told, Nintendo just gave you the ability to be able to share clips from your games, or not clips, but photos. So I often do that on Facebook. Me and you both do it.
Yeah.
And I was getting 1 or 2 comments for Zelda, but then after I started doing Horizon Zero Dawn, like every time people were commenting. So people love this game. And I'm sure people are going out of the way to comment on my Facebook of just saying, oh my God, this game is so amazing. They're telling their friends.
Yeah.
They're telling their friends who's telling their friends. So I'm not shocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sold 2.6 million copies in its first 2 weeks.
It was a pretty game. Cool premise.
So beautiful. Yeah.
Sometimes, first off, it had a lot of advantages. A lot of people picked it up because it was open world. Some people, like me and you, picked it up because that story premise. We were like, we have to play this. I know people probably picked it up just because of the way the game looked. It had a nice TV, and they're like, you know what? I want to see this game run.
There are people that I know, the first thing they ask me when it comes to about a game, they don't ask me how's the gameplay. They don't ask me how's the story. Their first question is, how does it look? And I'm like, why do you care?
But that's some people, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not gonna lie, it is cool to see how beautiful that game looks on my TV.
Yeah.
So, I'm not surprised. I am surprised about is what you were gonna go into next.
They're doing an expansion.
Yeah, like
What I'm shocked about is that they didn't announce this with the game, and they didn't try to push some season pass on us. I'm actually kind of proud of them for that. Like, I was like, oh, you're going to do a standalone? I don't know if it's going to be standalone or it's going to be a part that you have to own the game, because I don't know if you remember, but The Last of Us, for their DLC, you didn't have to own The Last of Us in order to play Left Behind.
And it did feel like, when you play Left Behind, it did feel like another game completely, which was cool. God, Last of Us was so good.
You didn't beat Horizon yet, have you?
No.
Okay. Well, we're not going to get into spoilers anyway.
Have you finished it?
I have.
You dick.
I did finish it.
I told you right away when I beat Zelda.
I'm sorry.
This is the thanks you give me?
I'm sorry. I beat it
How long is the game? Because I feel like I'm pretty deep into it, and I've gotten about like probably a good 17 hours in.
So it depends. When I beat it, I finished most side quests. I did most of the exploring.
Started doing the side quests and just skipped that.
And then I just decided, I'm just going to do this main campaign because I just want to beat it so I can, if we decide to do a spoiler cast, we can. And I beat it at about 50 hours.
Okay.
But the main campaign, if you just do the main story, you could probably beat it, I would say, in about maybe 20.
All right, so I don't have too much time. I did a lot of the side quests in the beginning, though. But like I said, I don't have a lot of time to play, and you know what I mean. That's giving me issues. So I was gonna play this weekend, and I got stuck at work all weekend.
That's usually how it works. Get it?
Work. I see what you did.
Yeah, I try. So I'm actually, there's some other news that I was actually kind of shocked with, and that is that For Honor was the best-selling game of February.
Why does that shock you?
I feel like no one's really talking about this game. Like, there's no buzz behind it. Like, I honestly thought that it was a flop.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's a bad game.
What else came out in February, though?
Well, we had Horizon at the end.
Oh, wow, yeah. Okay, well, that's not fair. The Horizon was way at the end, though.
Horizon was at the end. We had, God, why can't I think about these games right now? Resident Evil was already out. Neo was out.
What came out in February, though?
And that's about it. Neo came out in February. Neo was like early February. So yeah, I guess because a lot of people aren't really big fans of Soul series.
And so, and plus, I feel like Horizon Zero probably did well in March, after everybody was like, "Oh, this game is amazing!" Because literally, what was the came out? I think it was the last day of March, didn't it? Or
28th.
Yeah. Came out the last day of February.
Yep. Yeah, so I was just shocked by it. I mean, good game. Definitely has its hardcore audience.
Plus, you know what? For Honor came out Black History Month. People were like, yo, this is for our honor. Let's get it.
There's not a single black person in that game.
Oh, that's not cool.
It's Knights, Vikings, and then you have your weeaboos, the samurai.
There's some black samurais. You ever seen Afro Samurai?
Not in this game. Unless they're behind a mask.
Fair enough.
So, Injustice 2, they announced another character.
Yes.
Firestorm.
Yep.
How do you feel?
Don't care.
Same.
Yep. I'm starting to feel like this game is getting oversaturated with characters.
Yeah, and it's really weird to me because a part of me feels like they're holding their punches back for the season pass characters, and I hope that's not the case. Like, I hope that they don't announce like a season pass character, and I'm like, wow, I really want him, and it's like, why wasn't he just in the base game? Because so far this roster isn't very impressive to me.
I was excited about Gorilla Grog. I'm excited about Dr. Fate. I'm excited about Supergirl. So those were the ones I wanted. As long as you give me the returning cast and some extras, I was okay. These extra ones that they're throwing out now, it's just like, how are they going to fit into the story?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what gets me frustrated is, like you said, if I get cooler characters in the season pass, now they're not even in the story. You know what I mean? Like, I got mad that General Zod was a download character in the original game, and he wasn't at all in the story anywhere. You know what I mean? Martian the Manhunter was a download character, not in the story anywhere.
I feel like, though, if you're going to do Firestorm, I think they need to bring in Adam. What do you think?
No.
You don't think so?
Why?
Because Adam, in one of the movies, absorbed Firestorm's explosion. I think Adam is a perfect counter. The whole point of Injustice is hero versus heroes. Okay, whatever.
Man. So I'm bored with what you're saying.
Okay.
Bored.
No, it's fine. I get it.
It's
fine.
bring that up.
We'll bring up what you like, Sonic.
He's the fastest thing alive, but he can't catch an old fat guy. Sonic Mania, man, got pushed back.
Summer.
Yep. Here's another thing that sucks. I went to go reserve it yesterday because I paid off Kingdom Hearts. So anyway, I went to go reserve it, and I was like, I would like to reserve Sonic Mania, sir. And he was like, what would you like to reserve for it? And I was like, the Switch. And they're like, yep, no SKU for it yet. No release date for the Switch version, nothing. Only PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Oof.
Why do you think this is, man?
One of two things is the only thing that comes to my head. Either GameStop's behind on the ball and they haven't gotten a SKU for it yet, because I'm assuming you went to GameStop.
Where else can you reserve?
Or maybe they're having development issues with the Switch. I mean, most developers seem to be having a really easy time with it, but we don't know. Sonic Mania looks very simple.
It does.
But we don't know really the ins and outs of it, so maybe there's something with that game that they're just having a hard time getting it to do what they want for the Switch.
So my question is, do you think like Troll and I, which is one I dropped last week, is going to get pushed back on the Switch versus everything else that comes on? Because if that happens for Nintendo, you're going to run into the same issue you had for the Wii U. Why am I going to rebuy this for the Wii U when I bought it on PlayStation 4 to begin with?
That is definitely going to be a problem. But I don't, at this point, I think the smart thing to do for Troll and I, or Nintendo at least, if it has to get pushed back, they pay the developers to just push back on all of them. Be like, hey, look, we can't afford for you to release this game on the other two, and not ours yet. So here's some money, just hold off on all of it.
Yep.
I think that's what Nintendo really needs to do.
So, because there's times where I just don't understand the developer. Like when there was a rumor coming out when Tomb Raider was coming out finally on the PlayStation 4, because I'd been on the Xbox One for a while by this point, that you were going to get the first Tomb Raider with it.
Yes.
We're waiting, and that just never panned out. So maybe if Nintendo could do some stuff like that, that'd be pretty neat. Like extra content with their version because you had to wait for it.
That would be pretty cool.
It would be. That's why I said it.
But where there was some bad news, there was also some good news. So not only are you getting one Sonic game this year, you, sir, are getting two. That was mean. You just gave me the finger.
Yeah, it wasn't.
No, it's fine. I get it.
What's the name of the Sonic game, sir? Was it announced? You gonna tell me? What is it? Tell me what it is.
Sonic Forces.
Oh, stupid name.
I'm gonna say Sonic has been one of the few games, in my opinion, that just has not nailed the title in a long time.
Sonic Generations was a decent name.
I think Sonic Generations is pretty
Sonic
good.
Colors sound like a gang fight.
It's made by the guy who made both of those games. I don't.
In my opinion, though, have you played either Generation or Colors?
No, but
the best Sonic games.
You praise Generations a lot,
and Colors. They were both really good.
So you're really looking forward to this.
I am. I feel like both of those nailed a 3D/2D Sonic game in this generation.
Okay. Are you going to pick it up for the Switch too?
I wanted to get it for the Switch, but like I said, same thing with Mania. If they get released first on PlayStation 4, I'm picking up PlayStation 4. Because I love Sonic, I'm going to get it first. And I feel bad, you know what I mean?
Because you want to support your Switch.
I want to support my Switch. And to go into Switch, like I finished Zelda, I haven't touched my Switch since then.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Zelda. My Switch has honestly just been sitting there. And I check the shop every week just to see if they added anything cool, because they added Neo Geo games on there. Nothing still has really caught me. And like Binding of Isaac went on, and I was tempted to get it, but I already own it on the PS4, so I'm like,
I've never seen that. Wasn't anything I wanted to. This week, what got added? Binding of Isaac and something else that got added.
Metal Slug, but I already own Metal Slug on my PS4.
So, and then next week we're getting Snake Pass. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, like
Give me something. Give me something.
Honestly, I don't think I'm getting anything for my Switch until Mario Kart.
Yeah, well, funny you mentioned that. I asked why I was there because I went and reserved everything I could for the Switch. I said, what's the next thing? Because I reserved at least like 5 games for my Switch. And I said, what's the next one coming out? And Mario Kart. Are you kidding me? Not only do I have to wait until next month to get a game on my Switch again, it's one I owned already.
Yeah, and honestly, in my opinion, Mario Kart, the fun part of it, I probably won't even really play it because the fun part is playing against you, and when we are all over here. So that's really disappointing.
Honestly, the next thing after that is Street Fighter, which I'm really excited for.
For me, the next thing isn't until Splatoon.
You download the demo, which you can't play now.
Yeah, I saw. That was really upsetting, actually.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I really feel like you should give Street Fighter a chance. I've been doing a lot of research on Street Fighter coming out for the Switch, and it's looking really, really good.
I heard they added a lot that makes it really cool.
You got a first-person view on there, which I think is really neat. New artwork style and everything like that. It's what do you call it? Something that the Street Fighter V wasn't.
Like the cell shading arc.
Yeah, what does it call it? Oh, it's a finished game when it gets released. That's what it is. They're not going to sell it to me in parts. You know what I mean?
You, sir, are too much.
I'm still pissed about that. I still have not rebought Street Fighter 5.
I don't blame you. So Persona 5, first reviews are coming out.
Yep.
Perfect scores. A lot of people are saying that Zelda's going to have some tough competition with Game of the Year.
I'm not surprised, but I also don't think Persona 5 will get Game of the Year. Not because it doesn't deserve it.
I actually agree with you. And here's why. Because it's Persona.
Exactly.
Whereas Zelda
is Zelda.
And not to say, like, even if Persona is the better game, I'm not saying it is. That's obviously going to be very based on what you like. I'm probably definitely going to love Persona over Zelda personally.
Because you're a hipster.
But it's just not going to win. Honestly, I think the 2 best candidates for Game of the Year this year, even though one of them isn't even out yet, it's going to be Zelda because it's Zelda and Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's Rockstar.
I can agree with that. I also feel like, Red Dead Redemption's got a lot to live up to, too. That first game was so good.
I agree. But I think if anyone...
Sometimes when you're going off... Like, I feel bad for Last of Us 2, because Last of Us 2 has got to be perfection, or people are going to lose their mind.
Dude, same thing with Horizon. They already said that they're going to start working on a sequel. It's probably going to be a series. You really ended on a high note. Your first game got praised a lot. It kind of sucks. I mean, that's great. You came up with a new IP. It was really well received. But now you have to do as good or better. Whereas I think games like Assassin's Creed really benefited off their first game kind of being...
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, I did not play Assassin's Creed 2 because how much I hated 1 until somebody recommended it to me. And I've continued to play that franchise since then because how much I love 2.
Same.
So
2 is actually the reason I still try Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, and then once in a while you'll hit a gem will fall in there. 4, I really like Black Flag.
4 was good. Way better than 3. I think the next one I really enjoyed since
Unity.
Syndicate.
I know it.
But yeah, Syndicate was the one I really liked. But yeah, so what do you think? Are you going to try Persona 5?
No.
No.
Maybe. I don't know. I've kind of gone away from RPGs, like old school RPGs lately, but maybe I'll give it a try. So I did get that itch back once I went and bought the re-release of Final Fantasy. So I'm also picking up Kingdom Hearts at the end of the month, so maybe I'll get that kickback for RPGs again.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I really like about Persona is it's turn-based too. I just feel like not enough games do it anymore, so it's just nice to have someone out there that's like, hey, we know this is something that not a lot of people like, but this is what we want to do.
Yep.
So I really like that.
You know what the best turn-based RPG game was?
Chrono Trigger?
Chrono Trigger's not bad. I was going to say Lost Odyssey. But all right.
So Nintendo plans on doubling Switch production.
It's a good idea.
Duh.
Here's my issue besides Switch. I got my Switch already.
Got mine too.
I wanted to get a case because I haven't took my Switch anywhere because I don't have a case for it yet.
Okay.
There's not even a case in the store you can get. Not one store around here has a case.
Yeah, that's really.
Now, okay, so, all right, I get it. You didn't put enough Switches out because you might lose some money if you can't sell a $300 system. You're gonna lose money off a $20 case. You can't even produce those quick enough. Are you kidding me? So I'm like, all right, cool, can't do that, or I'll order one online. So I found a case I really liked. Clicked on it to order. Hey, heads up, this will come to 2 to 4 months.
Holy!
I can't even order a case online.
shit.
What are you thinking, Nintendo? Like the Amiibos you released are sold out everywhere. Anything you get in the store right now are extra Joy-Cons, all right, which are slowly dwindling away, by the way.
Yeah.
And the headphones. You sell me headphones I can get anywhere else. Thanks, Nintendo. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, I'm
it's
really pissed about
It's looking
this.
bad, but it's kind of weird to me because like. So we initially thought they were doing 2 million at launch. They didn't. They actually did less. They only shipped 1.5 million. And they haven't even apparently sold through that stock yet. That's what's shipped. Because if they sold it, they'd be like, we sold 1.5 million in a week. Their goal was to be at 2 million shipped by the end of this year. That's not a lot.
No.
What are they doing?
I don't know. And what Mark makes me is games like Zelda, which everybody bought a Switch probably picked up Zelda, can't even be called a great seller because you only sold as many Zeldas as the Switches you sold.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a lot. Like
It's funny because it's the best selling launch title of all time for Nintendo. But in my opinion, it's like, duh. You released it with 1-2 Switch and Bomberman and Just Dance.
yeah.
What? No brainer what I'm picking when I get my new console.
You're absolutely right. And they're like, even if people try to compare it to the Wii's launch, which was Twilight Princess and Super Monkey Ball, I got Super Monkey Ball at least.
Super Monkey Ball is great.
And I love that game. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to go through the story mode in Bomberman. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that it's terrible. It's just like,
It's a much-
Zelda brought me all the way up here. And I'm like, there is nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing for my Switch.
And my fear with the Switch now is I wonder if Zelda's the high point.
I'm still holding out for Mario. I think Mario is going to be amazing.
No. Not that it won't be amazing, but of what the console's capable of. Because you know how as consoles are out, developers seem to get used to the hardware and they can do better things with that hardware.
Right.
Look at The Last of Us. When the PS3 first came out, games did not look like The Last of
Yeah,
Us.
the best looking game you could get on PS3 was Heavenly Sword.
Yes.
And then compare that to Last of Us, which looked like a PlayStation 4 quality game on PlayStation 3. I agree with you.
So my fear is that from the moment the system has come out, I'm worried that is the
Big
peak.
peaked.
Because apparently that game really pushes that system.
I'm not surprised. And I was talking to a friend of mine. I was showing him. Matter of fact, the friend of mine that came over yesterday, I was showing him like the map in the game, how big the map is, and everything like that. And he's like, "Wow!" And he's like, "All that on that little SD card." And I'm like, "Be honest, that's probably it, right?"
Yeah.
They put one more enemy, that game would have crashed. Like,
And I'm just like, man, if this is all they can achieve, that don't get me wrong, it's very impressive still, but it's like, what does that mean for your future games? And where does that set the bar? Has the bar been set and you can't exceed that bar?
Yeah.
Because it's like...
And it also depends on how much time they're going to invest in the Switch. But this whole only one Mario game, one Zelda game on this console thing is not going to fly.
No.
You need to release another Zelda. Release another Mario.
I think, honestly, you have 3 years from now to release another Zelda. There better at least be 2 on this system, and they better not be ports.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you.
If
I get
anything,
Skyward Sword is my second Zelda on this.
I will only accept Skyward Sword as a second Zelda if it's next year. If they do a Zelda a year, and between the Breath of the Wild and the actual new one, they do 2 ports, I'm okay with that. As long as you're getting me a new Zelda by the end of this cycle. But...
You know what I would like to see ported over Skyward Sword? A Link to Two Worlds.
I wouldn't mind 4 Swords either.
4 Swords would be cool.
Because I think with the way that the console is.
I would love to see Link to Two Worlds. The 3DS one, I would love to see that. Especially on my big TV, that would be really neat.
That'd be really cool, yeah.
I know, that's why I said it. Thanks for repeating it.
No problem.
I mean, what are you? We got a parrot in there? That's what it is? Parrot will?
Parrot will.
Yep.
Speaking of the Switch, so South Park made a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
They said, Nintendo, I'm coming Nintendo. Which a lot of people took that as, the South Park game's coming to the Switch.
That's not how I took it.
That is how a lot of people on the internet took it. Internet blew up, like the internet does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how I took it. I took it as an episode is going to be dedicated
Absolutely.
to the Switch.
Yep.
And it's going to be one of those funny episodes where Cartman wants a Switch. He waits for hours, either doesn't get it or gets it, and then he's like, this doesn't even look as good as my PS4 type of joke thing that they're probably going to pull. So when they were asked if they were going to bring it to the Switch, Ubisoft said, and same with the developers, as of right now, there's no plans to bring South Park to the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, like, I don't... People are always going to misread things like that, so I'm not shocked. But yeah, when I heard that was the first thing I thought was, no, they're doing a South Park episode on the Switch.
Yeah.
It's a pop culture thing. Of course they're going to do an episode on that.
Yeah. So that doesn't surprise me at all. I think it'd be even funnier if they do an episode where some people have been having issues with their Switch. So Cartman goes through all this trouble to get one, and then this is one of the ones that...
Yeah, so what are the issues you've heard? Because I've heard that in a couple places that...
some people have been having a lot of screen tearing issues that I've seen. One guy had a problem where only Zelda would not play on his Switch. Every other game would, but even when he would return Zelda, get another Zelda, it would not play on his Switch.
Oh, it'd be done.
So what have you looked into it or seen anything?
No, like my Switch is, knock on wood, wherever it shall be, somewhere in here, there it is. I haven't had any issues with it, but I worry, because like I said, it's not like it's easily replaceable right now.
Yeah, and it's a new hardware, so I'm also worried that at any moment I could get one of those random things. It was kind of like when the red ring started happening for the Xbox 360. Although I never got it, I was always that fear of when will it happen for me.
And then, like I said, now coming to find out, I put in a good 50 hours into Zelda. I definitely will not replay that.
Yeah,
so
I don't blame you.
if I lost the save data, that's over. It's what can you do?
Another game that people want to go to the Switch, Overwatch. Overwatch dev Jeff Kaplan says he loves the Switch, and that while getting Overwatch on the Switch would be very challenging, they are looking into it. It's not something that they're just going to push off.
I would pick it up.
How
would that make you feel, buddy? Would you be pissed at me?
No, I wouldn't be mad. Overwatch is such a good game. I get why people would want it on the go. I don't think people understand that it's online only, and that having it on the go means that you either always have to be in Wi-Fi, or you better have a hotspot on your phone because you're not going to play that game otherwise.
Yeah.
However, I will say that this is what Nintendo needs. If I was Nintendo and I saw that Jeff Kaplan even said that, like, oh, we're interested, I would throw money at them. Because Overwatch right now...
Just women and money.
Overwatch right now is huge. No matter what. You haven't played it, or even people that like don't like it because of its cartoonish look, it doesn't matter. Your opinion at this point is irrelevant because that game is massive, and it's still selling to this day. If Nintendo...
It's gotten me interested in playing it, and you know how I hate online-only games.
Yeah.
Like, be honest, the only reason I'm getting Splatoon is because it's Nintendo. Because you know how much I hate online-only games.
Yeah. And, like, it's crazy to me how big Overwatch is, and Nintendo needs this. If they can get this on their system and be like, look, we have Overwatch, that will sell your system.
Yeah.
Although I'm not someone who will probably buy it because I don't want to play Overwatch on the go personally. Because I feel like usually when I bring my Switch out with me, it's for the single player games because I can just pause it and put it in sleep mode.
I haven't been bringing my Switch anywhere. I feel so weird about that, man.
I used to bring it to work with me to play Zelda, but because I was really in this mood where I was like, I'm going to try my best to get into Zelda. Still nothing for me, so I'm
going to tell you this, man. I enjoyed Zelda all the way up. To me, it almost would have became my favorite Zelda had the ending been a little better, and I'd say the last 4 hours have been a little better in Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give it to Wind Waker still, but I've really enjoyed this Zelda.
But what do you think? Do you think Nintendo needs to get Overwatch?
You need to get Overwatch. You need to get any person that seems somewhat interested in you with a game that sells. Like you said, throw money. Hire hookers. I don't care what you got to do, Nintendo, to get them in.
I mean, sure, Nintendo...
The fact that Skyrim's coming on it and I haven't seen Nintendo shoving it down everybody's throat mind boggles me. Are you kidding me? That's Skyrim. To this day, I still have people that I don't know walk up to me and go, Skyrim was the greatest game ever, and walk away. Like, who was that? So weird. But, like, honestly, so, like, that's a huge deal that you're getting Skyrim. Yeah, you're getting it 20 years after its release, but that's a huge deal.
Yeah, there are people that really still love that game.
And I know people that, they'll probably just pick it up because of Skyrim again on the Switch. Now Skyrim on the go. I know I got it reserved. I'm really excited about picking it up. But, you know what I mean? I went out of my way to find out information about this. I went out of my way to find out, it's the PS3 version, but it's going to be running a little bit better than the PS3 version. I went out of my way to say there's not going to be any lag from when you take it to from portable mode to
handheld.
Handheld.
So there's not going to be drop or anything.
So I'm like, so these things are getting explained. Why did I have to go out of my way to do this though? Why would Nintendo be...
I'm really curious if that means that there's something wrong with it that they're just not willing to show or say yet. Or maybe it's not up to Nintendo if they can show it. Maybe Bethesda's just like, hey, we're giving you the game, but we don't expect to make money off of this, and we're not going to put money into marketing for it. Because Bethesda might just be like, hey, look, we're going to support you. We're giving you a game that came out on the PS3. It's something. But we're not going to put any more money into this than we have to until you prove to us that we should.
And I'm hoping that Nintendo starts getting on the board because they advertised their crap out of Zelda and One Two Switch. And that was it. Those are the two things you advertise more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Nintendo. Third party. You ever heard of them? They're nice.
Nah, Nintendo's been afraid of third party since the Super NES.
I guess so. They're still mad about that Sony IP CD thing. Like, look what you did to Zelda. We don't want anything.
Well, that's what it was Nintendo's fault for why Sony made the PlayStation.
Yes, it was.
I don't know if people know this. This is just going to be a little history trip real quick. So Nintendo and Sony were teamed up at one point, and Sony was going to bring, it was called the Nintendo PlayStation.
Correct.
It was going to be a disc reader for the, was it N64? Super NES. And last minute, they took it from Sony at E3. They took it from Sony and brought Toshiba out on stage instead. So Sony was like, all right, you're not even going to inform us that you cut us out. Well, fine. We're going to go make our own thing.
Which Nintendo laughed at, by the way.
Yeah.
But good luck, Sony. See how that works.
And then Sony made it, and Nintendo kept on going with their disc because the Toshiba thing was a flop. And guess what? Your cartridges was a bad idea.
It's a shame because as much as I'm a Nintendo fanboy and as much as I'm like, oh, Sony, you literally created yourself to go against Nintendo, I love Sony. Sony's made so many good decisions.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? You know what Switch needs? Do you remember the press conference PlayStation 4 did versus the Xbox One?
Yes.
And how it was jabbing at Xbox One every chance it got. That got me hyped for a PlayStation 4.
Same.
I go back to this video and I find it so hilarious. They showed Xbox One game sharing. And then Sony was like, here's our game sharing. And he hands him the game and he's like,
yeah.
Thanks, man. I laughed so hard at that. I was like, you won, Sony. So they need that kind of oomph and enthusiasm and advertisement to get them on their way. And it's cool that Nintendo's pouring a lot of money into advertising your two main games that you released. But like, come on, man. Third party.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me know how I'm getting this Street Fighter. It's coming out. How I'm getting Skyrim. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's just Nintendo needs to just pick it up. I get that it's hard, but they need to do it.
And like, I feel like there's a couple games that they should have gone out of the way and just released at launch and been a good idea. Start releasing some PS3 games that the Wii U never got. You know what I mean? Or the Wii U did get and just re-release them on the Switch. Because I probably would have picked them up. I know a few people. They've re-released Call of Duty Ghost on the Switch. I would have picked that up.
Yeah.
That easily would have ran on it.
I can agree with that. Last bit of news.
Your news.
So, when I first started reading this, I was pretty, I thought, okay, this is some good news for this company, GameStop. At first, I was like, wow, GameStop's really stepping their game up when I first started reading it. They're going to do a Game Pass as well. And I thought, wow, this is how they're going to combat Best Buy's 20% off all new games and accessories, Amazon Prime. GameStop needs this. Go on to read. Apparently, so you spend $10 and you save $10 off of new titles for the 30 days, for within 30 days of their release. And it starts March 12th, and it goes until July 6th. Except it's not off of any new game. It's off of 5 selected games, and those games are Mass Effect, Sniper Elite 4, Prey, Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind, and Nier. Nier Automata.
Man, GameStop's stupid.
Yeah, what are they thinking?
They don't.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like,
Wait, are you surprised? This is GameStop we're talking about, man. They haven't made a good decision since they got was it EB Games? Like,
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super surprised, but it's one of those things where it's like how you don't see your company slowly dwindling away is beyond me.
I honestly feel like if I was Best Buy, Target, Walmart, anything else that sold video games, at a whole, I would be like, let's just get rid of GameStop and do something ridiculous for like half a year.
Well, Target constantly does that sale of buy 2 get 1 free on games.
Just all overall, and just give everybody an option to be like, why would I go to GameStop for anything?
Yeah.
I would do that, man. I'd be all them companies. I'd get together in an evil plan, like, let's knock GameStop out.
The Legion of Doom.
Yeah, like, just get together and like, let's all do a buy one, get one free on all new releases for the next, 6 months. No one would go to GameStop, man.
Yeah.
It'd be over. Like, so, I agree with you. Honestly, the only thing that's keeping me going to GameStop is slowly some of the employees there, and slowly they're dwindling away.
Yeah.
So, they lost a good one, man. A really good one. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a good guy. And he does an amazing podcast.
Oh, thanks.
And he's a fantastic dude all around, so. But I'm not going to mention you, Will Zabo.
Oh, thanks, man. That means a lot to me. But yeah, I at first, like I said, I was really excited when I was reading this because I wasn't really excited because I buy digital, so it wasn't going to change me.
But it was something that GameStop was going to do.
But I was like, oh, GameStop's going in the right direction. They are learning, but they're not. They're just staying. They're almost like Nintendo to me, stuck in their ways and they refuse to change.
So, and honestly, after this probably within the next couple months, I'm going to switch over to digital because I'm just tired. I was thinking that the other day. I was getting up to put Horizon Zero in. I was like, should have just got this digitally. I paid $60 for this. I got to get up, put it in. I could have done the same, and it would have been right in my system. So, as it stands, anything re-release I've been picking up digitally. Anything else I've been picking up the hard disk. So.
Yeah. But all right, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah, we can call it, man.
Yeah, we can. This has been a long one. Not our longest.
No, that was 2 hours.
This one's almost an hour and 30 minutes. So
we love you guys. That's
we do. We try to give you the best content we can.
Yes.
But my name's Will Zabo. Oh, wait, I didn't even do the plugs.
Oh yeah, man. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Oh man.
End of this episode.
In order to make sure you get as much water as you can in your bathtub, you plug it up with wrong plugs. I'm sorry. That's weird. Go ahead, buddy.
So, if you like this episode, please hit that like button. If you dislike it, you can hit the thumbs down.
I wouldn't, though.
We'd prefer if you didn't. It's okay. Just pretend it doesn't exist.
It's not, though. So, just look at the like and like only.
Please leave a comment down below of what you think of this episode or any of the topics we discussed. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Twitter.
Well, I asked you last week to stop that. You didn't. Back once again, message us, send us any questions you have, anything you want to know, and please answer that King Kong Godzilla question, because that's been bothering me all week. All right?
We need
I don't want to hear anything.
measurements.
Yeah, my son came up to me, he was like, can I have a snack today? I'm like, how is King Kong going to fight Godzilla, all right? Answer that, you can eat food, okay, buddy?
But my name is Will Zabo.
Justin Nazario.
We are out.
Peace.